Hi there, this is Gene Galin with the Chatham Journal newspaper. I'm here with Dianne Reid, who's our new Chatham County Economic Development Corporation president.
Yes.
And she's agreed to do a little 30-minute interview here with us for our podcast. And so let's start off, Dianne, with why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a North Carolinian. I'm a native of Asheboro, just a neighboring county, Randolph, and went to UNC, both undergrad and grad school. I was have a master's in city and regional planning, but my interest in planning was always economic development. My specialization was economic development in the planning department. After grad school, I moved to Philadelphia and lived there about 20 years, worked for an economic development corporation in Camden, New Jersey, which was at the time and remains one of the most distressed cities in the U.S. It was quite a challenging job at the time. And after about 20 years, decided to come back to North Carolina. Came initially to Kannapolis, where I worked with an organization called the Piedmont Peace Project, which does community organizing work in Kannapolis and the Sandhills. And then the Orange County Economic Development Commission job opened in 1999, and I moved to Orange County at that time, and was there about 8 years, and am now in my third week with the Chatham County Economic Development Corporation.
So you started, right, June 11th was your official start date.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Coming from the Orange County side, what were some of the initiatives you did there, and how would those translate or transport over here to Chatham County?
Sure. Orange County, I think, like Chatham County, appreciates the fact that economic development is not just the industrial development. It's a broad array of initiatives. So the Orange County Economic Development Commission oversees the Visitors Bureau, so that tourism is included as part of economic development. It includes the Arts Commission, so the arts are an important component, and also agriculture. We had a position that was established about midway through my tenure at Orange County as an agricultural economic development coordinator, was someone who was total responsibility was to work with farmers to help them transition from tobacco into more profitable ventures with their farms. So it's a very holistic view of economic development that we do want to include recreation, arts, tourism, agriculture, and also we did focus a lot on employment and training, making sure that the people are prepared for jobs across the board in all sectors.
Okay, you hit on three things that would probably be of particular interest to Chatham County folks: arts and agriculture and employment. On your initiatives on the arts and agriculture, what kind of specific things did you do, and what kind of things would you see possibly doing here in Chatham County?
Sure. Well, we're actually hoping in Orange County to tie some of the arts and agricultural programs. The coordinator is working on a barn quilt project, which would have artists design quilts that would be painted on barns in the rural area, and then create a tour of those projects. So things like that, agricultural tourism with arts as part of it, I think could fit well here in Chatham County. A lot of economic development is about helping people do their business better, improve their skills. So doing the technical assistance and skill training in financial statements and marketing for farmers, for artists, to build up the business skills. I mean, you can be a terrific dentist and not know how to run a dentist's office.
Right.
In a similar way, farming and farmers and artists can use that assistance as well.
Well, that ties into the item you mentioned about employment education. How do you do that? Through the community college, or what what would the EDC offer to be able to help with employment education?
Sure. With the community colleges are really critical and historically really important part of North Carolina's strength as an economic development entity, I think, because it does that sort of lifelong learning. There was a time, as you know, that people had one job and stayed there all their lives and retired and got their gold watch, and that was that. That is not today's world. The pace of change is incredibly fast, so people need to be constantly upgrading their skills to stay current. And the last data I saw for how long people stay in the jobs is something under 3 years. So you need to constantly be building your skills, and the community colleges can play a tremendous role in that. I think it's also important to reach back into K through 12 and get to kids even as early as elementary and middle school, certainly, to start thinking about careers and what they want to do, so that they can have a good idea of what the world of work is like. One of the things that we discovered as we did our strategic plan in Orange County, we did some focus groups with employers and with temp agencies, and a lot of employers say that recent grads, whether high school or college, have I guess the best way to put it is unrealistic expectations of what they're worth and what their first job is going to be,
right.
And even as mundane things as being on time and how to dress. And so I think getting that knowledge instilled early will be helpful.
So is that something the EDC incorporates with the schools and the school board, or is that something where you present programs that are ancillary to what's going on in the schools?
I think as much as possible, it's preferable to work with those who are already doing, who have that mission. There could be things that work are having employers go into the schools and do mock interviews and that sort of thing, so that you establish the connections between existing industry and the public schools. Working with the employment and training system, and the state workforce development boards have money for training. Working with them is another way of approaching it.
So integrating schools into the overall business scheme is important to attracting businesses.
I think it is. I think it's important. It's important to make sure that one of the things, actually the main reason that businesses locate in an area is the labor force. Actually, the first. Even more important than that is where the CEO wants to live.
Oh.
But when you get past,
I was going to say there's lots of examples of that.
When you get past where the CEO wants to live, the next item is the availability of a labor force that fits what they're looking for. So that's really critical.
So actually, the labor force is after where the CEO wants to live is the number one priority.
Yes.
And all the items you mentioned are some of the things that the EDC can play a role.
Yes.
In
not necessarily creating new programs, but working with existing agencies and schools and institutions to make sure that it's all fitting. I think that coordination of effort is what the EDC can help with, is bringing people together, and making sure that we are doing all the things we need to